What's up, everybody? I'm Steve Helmerson, the owner of SH Fabrications, and this is the SH Fabrications YouTube channel. My first series is going to be me taking on getting my 2020 Honda Talon built. We're going to do full 2-inch chromoly cage on this thing. It should be full race legal on any series, anything like that. It's gonna be a cool build. I got a lot of stuff going on. I got a lot of parts on order for this thing. And once I'm done with this thing, I got a few other projects. We have Aaron's STI back there that I did a full roll cage in. I have my 88 Toyota 4Runner, which you guys are probably, most of you guys may be pretty familiar with. If not, then you're probably going to get very familiar with it. We have a lot of things to do to this old girl. So we will get to that when we get there, and it's gonna be really cool when we get to that thing. So, but otherwise, most of the stuff we're gonna be doing on this channel is gonna be a lot of welding and fabrication and stuff. I'll be covering some tips and tricks and on some on fabrication stuff and things like that. Nothing real basic. Most of the stuff, you know, that I'll be doing on this stuff is pretty simple to find on YouTube. So I'm not gonna be going over a whole lot of that kind of stuff. But when I'm doing certain things, I'll for sure be letting you guys in on a few steps and how I do things, certain things like miter cuts and figuring out multi-bends and multiple bends in a tubes and things like that. But otherwise, we're just gonna get right into it, I guess, and we're going to start off. We're just going to be getting into the tube prep videos, which is going to be, you know, getting rough measurements and bending the tubes and putting them in the lathe and spinning them and cleaning all the mill scale and stuff off the tube and notching and prepping all that kind of stuff just to get it to where we are here, and then we will progress from there as I get time to work on this thing. There's not a lot of it, so progression has been slow, but we're getting there, and we'll be getting more and more done on this thing. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe, share the video if you'd like, and stay tuned. Some updates on the Honda Talon cage. We're starting some of the welding. I'm going to try to get some welding done just a little bit every day after work, just to try to get some progress, work on a couple tubes or notches, and then do some welding, trying to balance that back and forth. I got a lot of plate work and stuff, but it's coming along pretty good. Got to get some more material because I'm going to have a dash bar that's going to cross there with just a single tube that's going to come down. The whole cage, all the mains are all 2-inch chromoly. But in order to keep some of my visibility, I made a 2-inch tube that goes across the bottom of the windshield there, but it's just way too big. So I'm gonna go ahead and do those out of 1.5 inches, do the center tube at 1.5 inches, and all the rear cross and support tubes I'll do all out of 1.5 inch chromoly. The top of the cage turned out really good. These notches were kind of a pain in the ass. I got them not cut out there. I'll fit the that tab back in there, that ear, the notch there. But they all landed pretty good, pretty square and flat all the way across. I am working on the back of the car, where I'm going to be positioning the spare tire. Sorry it's dark in here, I don't have any lighting very well yet. So I'm laying out tubes that are going to come all the way out to here, and then those are going to get mitered and come down. This tube all notched and fitted in there, bent up nice. Kicks out, matches that tube, or it will be pretty close. And then I'll have the tube, I think, come around there, and it'll all be paneled in real nice. I think now I gotta add some plates to the back of this, where these are. And I'll tie it into here, and then I'll have tubes that are going to run from here down to the back of the chassis somewhere. I'd like to tie it into here, but it might end up being tied into here. I think it'll look a little bit nicer if it was tied in here. I don't know, I'll have to mess with it, see what it looks like. I haven't updated this in a little bit. I kind of totally forgot to get the GoPro going when I was working on this thing a few days ago, but I ended up getting quite a bit done. I'm working on, I got all of the rear main tubes kind of laid out. I ended up putting a slight bend in this tube here, just because I think it's going to look cool once the whole rest of this is all done. I got the first cab tie-in tube all dialed in. Got the miter that still needs a bulkhead inside of it for those two to butt against before I weld that in. Super long, complicated notch there. Worked out really well. And so yeah, I'm actually just going to get going on the other side. The tie-in tube, I've actually already started it. I got it trimmed. I got the miter put on that side, and then I'm starting the long bastard notch over here, which we're gonna, that other one, this one took me about 2 hours to do this one. I'm hoping this one will take me a little bit less, but it may be pretty close, so I can get it to match that one almost as closely as I can. And once that tube's done, I went to the metal supply place and I got some 1.5" chromoly so I can do dash bar, the intrusion tube, and then harness tube, and then the B-pillar webbing gussets that'll go from center to each tie in there. I don't know what I'm going to do for seat belts. I think I'm going to run something down. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But cut the hood open here so I can slide it around the roll bar for the A-pillar so that I can take the hood off easy without having to take the cage off if I wanted to. So I'm gonna get back to work here. I'm gonna leave Aaron's car in the shop today because it's kind of rainy outside a little bit. So I'm gonna set up the time lapse and we're gonna get going on this tube. Hopefully we can get it done here next hour or so. Let me think, Morgan. So I know I left this tube a little long. I left the other side way longer. I left this tube a little bit long so that I can fit it to the miter of the support tube here. So what I ended up doing was measuring the angle here and then cutting this tube to the exact angle that I needed. I drew it up on some cardboard so I knew exactly what I was going to need. And so this is actually going to give me the template for fitting this, because it's kind of a compound miter, because it's got to rotate inward and also go downward. So it's kind of have a funky angle like coming up at the tube this direction. So with this just roughly notched out, I cut it out with a cutoff wheel. I took it as far as I could with my notcher, and then I just used a cutoff wheel to throat it out a little bit more. Still really rough, but at least it fits roughly into position. So it fits actually pretty good down there for just a rough fit up. But now this kind of tells me where I need to start cutting this tube down. So I have it kind of traced out on the inside of the tube. And what I'll do is I'll just use a flap disc and I'll just start grinding away at it, and I'm gonna just walk that right in until the bottom of this tube is butted up right up against here, so I can, once I bulk it, I'll fill it all up with weld, and should be nice to fit up, kind of like that side. Alright guys, just took a few minutes and I got that thing dialed in pretty closely. I can bump that right up against there. It's hard to do with one hand, but you can see it's fit up pretty good. It's got some gaps in there, but we haven't fitted it down on this end. I know the back side of that tube is going to be pretty high up off of the rear tube. So I'll be able to I already got a little bit gap on the bottom side, but that'll close up once I fit the back side of the tube. But since I have that, it's pretty close. I just transferred, since this edge is good, I just transferred that edge line back here, just kind of free-handed it to get it as close to the B-pillar tube as possible. And then that way, once I'm done fitting up this side of the tube, I can just roll I'll cut that with a cutoff wheel just on this side of it, and then clean it up with the flap disc, and that'll fit up in there real nice. And I can make more of a, I can throw it out the bottom side of that once the backside rolls down. It should fit up pretty nice. I have plenty of material still here to still fit it do the final fit on it, but also get it close enough to start fitting the backside of the tube, which is pretty close, but I haven't really looked at it since it's been fit up there. It's got, it needs a lot of work, so see, it's got a big fat gap back there. And most of it's just because the throat's too shallow here. But since this tube doesn't lay perfectly parallel to the main tube there, I have to. It's got a weird roll to the notch on the inside here where it rolls in. So it's actually on the outside where it kind of rolls over the outside and into here. So I know this is where the back of the tube needs to land. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start fitting this notch so it'll drop that thing down. And once that thing fits good and tight, it should be pretty dang close to this line. And then if I have to suck it in a little bit, I have plenty of room up here to do that. Hopefully it's within, you know, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, whatever this is. And then we'll be good to go. So back to work. Well, it looks like my battery died on my GoPro, but I was pretty much done fitting the tube anyways. But I got it all dialed in. It actually turned out not too bad, I don't think. Fit up's pretty good all the way around. Actually, it's a little tighter in the back than the other side did. I don't know what happens. So it's all dialed there. There's still a little gap in there. That's gonna fit that a little bit better. Just got it tacked for now. I gotta take these all back off because I have them just kind of tacked into place because I'm still gotta work on designing how I'm gonna do this whole area, and I might end up mitering these tubes, and I'd like to drop them in the bandsaw so to do the mitering. So I haven't figured this out yet, but these tubes they look pretty good. Turned out pretty even. Does not look too bad. Pretty square. This Honda is actually nice to work on. There's lots of spots. All the tabs and stuff across the dash seem to be really close to being dead on square, or at least pretty dang close. So it's made everything lay out super nice and clean around here. So I'm pretty pumped with how that turned out. That only took me maybe, I don't even think it took me an hour, maybe 45 minutes. Just because I, spent the time doing this one, and then making this one super simple. There you are, part 1 of the Honda build. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching this. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff. We got lots to do, so I'm gonna get everything pulled out of the shop today and get back to work. We'll see you on the next one.